في سهل هو أم في جبل أم في أرض أم في سماء أم في بر أم في بحر ولا يدي من ومن قبل من وقد علمت أن علمه عندك وأسبابه بيدك وأنت الذي تقسمه بلطفك وتسببه برحمتك. اللهم فصل على محمد وآله واجعل يا رب رزقك لي واسعا ومطلبه سهلا وماخذه قريبا ولا تؤنني بطلب ما لم تقدر لي فيه رزقا فإنك غني عن عذابي وأنا فقير إلى رحمتك. فصل على محمد وآله وجد على عبدك بفضلك إنك ذو فضل عظيم. اللهم صل على
محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله يا إمام الرحمة يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين يا ولي بن أبي طالب يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد يا قرة عين الرسول يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيهة عند الله اشفعي لنا عند الله يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيهة عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا ولي بن الحسين يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا يا وابا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها الباقر يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وابا عبد الله يا جعفر بن محمد أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا موسى بن جعفر أيها الكاظم يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد أيها الهادي النقي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وسي الحسن والخلف الحجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. Ask for your hajat. يا سادتي وموالي إني توجهت بكم أئمتي وعدتي ليوم فقري وحاجتي إلى الله وتوسلت بكم إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله فاشفعوا لي عند الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي عند الله فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا سادتي يا أولياء الله صلى الله عليهم أجمعين ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين آمين رب العالمين. الله वो उसकी हीटअप हो जाता है ये लाइट चला रहा है. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويل لكل همزة لمزة الذي جمع مالا وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده كلا لينبذن في الحطمة وما أدراك ما الحطمة نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم مؤصدة في عمد ممددة صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Tuesday night, inshallah, Tafsir of Quran. We've reached chapter number 104, Surah Humazah, which I recited for you. Very briefly, I will only be able to cover a portion of it as the surah requires a little bit more than just the summary that we've been discussing, but we'll try and see in the next 15 minutes if we can summarize it. The surah begins in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Woe to every backbiter, slanderer, humazatin lumaza, who amasses wealth and hoards it, thinking that his wealth will make him immortal. I'll only discuss these three ayat, that the name of the surah comes from the very first ayah, وَيْلُلْ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. Humaza, one who rejects others by slander and taunting. So there are people who not only reject others, but they reject on top of it with what? By slandering others and by defaming others. An overview of the surah, we find that the belief in the resurrection is main topic of the surah, is scolding those who look for faults in people and those who amass wealth. These three are the main discussions of the surah. Surah Humaza was revealed in Makkah. It was revealed between the first migration of the people of the Muslimin to Habsha, right? And between the Mi'raj of Rasulullah. So in between that period, it was revealed after Surah Qayamat. The surah has 9 verses, 33 words, and 130 letters. It is placed at number 104 in the current order of surahs in Quran, while it is the 32nd surah revealed in the chronological descent of Quran. So from that aspect, it was the 32nd surah, but of course it's placed at number 104. Topics and the contents. The surah is Makki, as you mentioned, condemns all sorts of scandals and backbiting and all those who do their best to gather and pile up wealth. It's just a absolute condemnation for such people, for which they lose whole value for their humanity and defame, insult, and mock those who do not possess much wealth. These selfish people who are arrogant with their wealth enjoy talking or suggesting evil of men and women, not only by word, but also through their signs, innuendo, insinuation, behavior, mimicry, and sarcasm, or sometimes they resort to insulting others. At the end of the surah, the painful destiny of these individuals is mentioned. These people who, first are highlighted as humaza and lumaza, they amass wealth, they do all of this stuff, they slander and backbite. What happens to these people? Allah talks about their painful destiny. He said they will be disgracefully thrown into the hell. Before their other belongings, the blazing fire of hell will begin burning, withering their hearts and their minds. The center of all their pride and arrogance will be squashed in front of their eyes. This ceaseless fire will be with them forever. Khalidina fiha. The way they say, Allazi jama'a malan wa akhlada, that the one who amasses the wealth and thinks that this wealth will remain with him forever, now he will remain with this fire forever. Occasion of revelation, a group of commentators have said that these verses of surah were revealed against a person by the name Walid ibn Mughira, who used to backbite the Holy Prophet and used to make sarcastic remarks and used to mock him. Some others believe that it was revealed for the chiefs of the pagans of Arabia and the known enemies of Islam, such as Akhnas ibn Shariq or Umayyad ibn Khalaf or As ibn Wa'il, the guy who said to the Prophet that you are abtar. But even if we accept these occasions of revelation, again, the generality of the meaning of these verses remains unchanged, and it covers all those who have these characteristics, not just limited to these individuals that were mentioned, but even today. Anyone who possesses these traits will be characterized. So the first ayah says, woe to every backbiter, slanderer. The surah begins with the strongest terms of threatening nature. Talk about threatening. Talk about someone taking up to someone and saying, what are you? Woe unto you. You are slanderer, you are backbiter. They are those who sting others with their speech, with their behavior. So sometimes we think, it's only when we physically give someone harm. No, it is through the tongue, which is being mentioned over here. Humaza and lumaza is done through your tongue. There's no mention of physically harming anyone. All there is harming people through your tongue using foul speech. That's why there's a couplet or there's a saying that Jarahatus Sinan Laha Iltiyam. The wounds that are caused by weapons like spears or arrows or sword, Laha Iltiyam, there's a healing process for them. They can heal. Ma Jaraha Lisan La Yaltama Bih. The one that is hurt by the tongue, there's no healing for that individual. So the wounds that are caused by the tongue have deeper and lengthier and longer repercussions than the wounds that are struck by a sword or any other weapon. They might heal quickly. So the Arabic term humaza and lumaza both are in the intensive amplification form. The term humaza is based on hams, which originally means to break, since the backbiters and slanderers do what? They break the personalities of other people. So they break it. That's what they call hams or humaza. And term humaza is used for these individuals, and the term lumaza is derived from the word lamz or lamaza, with the meaning of to backbite or to defame. Commentators are divided in saying that these two terms, are similar, mutaradif. They have the same meaning, backbiters, and therefore two are mentioned for emphasis. Allah could have just easily said, Wailul li kulli humazatin. But the word lumaza is added, which pretty much has the similar meaning for what? Emphasis. When you're describing someone, you can easily go that this boy is, very good. And then you add another attribute. He is also good in his studies. And then you add another attribute. He is also good at home. So you're adding, which is what? Increasing, emphasizing on the quality of this individual. So this is what happened over here. Some have said that the term humaza means backbiter and the word lumaza means fault finder. So they have separate meanings. The one who backbites is one, and the one who finds fault is another. Sometimes when you're finding fault in others, it's not necessary that you are backbiting that individual. Further, some believe that the word humaza means those who make innuendos with their hands and face when trying to find faults in others, and lumaza is meant for those who do this action with their tongues. So one is through hands and the other is through tongues. There are different meanings that are mentioned for these two words, which I thought was interesting, that is kalam hakim, kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There shouldn't be repetition. There shouldn't be something extra. Every word that is placed has a meaning and a reason and a wisdom behind it. But from all the above ideas, it is understood that there's another meaning actually, that those, first term humaza is a sense of finding fault on the face of the people, and the second one is done behind their backs. So that's another way of looking at it. All of the above ideas, it's understood that these two terms are used in the same sense with a vast meaning, so that includes any fault finding, defaming, backbiting, sarcasm, mockery done through tongue or mimicry. In any event, the term woe or wail is being used. It is a strong threat, this group of people, and basically Quran takes a serious stance on those types of people, because the word is starting with what? Woe unto you. It's not a common usage in the speech today. We don't really use this word, woe unto so and so. There's other foul language that is used. Of course, Quran is not going to use foul language. This is as, scolding as it gets in Quran. Woe unto you, which of course is pretty deep in its own. Basically, from this point of Islam, the honor of people is considered highly respectable, and therefore anything that causes to be insulted is a great sin. So in front of that, how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about it? He says, woe unto you. When you tell someone to stop from doing something, refrain from doing it, it's better to approach with mercy, with kindness, with soft words. So for example, if someone, your son, your daughter, your brother, your sister, your sibling, someone younger than you, your subordinate, if they make a mistake, You shouldn't go hard at them right away. Because if you want results, you should go approach it gently. That's the wise thing to do. But here, while you find in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala approaches things very gently and with mercy. Even when He tells Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu to go speak to Fir'aun, He says what? قَوْلًا لَيَّنًا. Speak to him with words that are soft. Why? It is possible that يَخْشَى أَوْ يَتَذَكَّرَ, that he might fear and he might remember. But here, because he knows that these are the slanderers, these are the backbiters, no mercy, no showing of any sort of compassion for these people. Woe unto you. That's how the speech begins. Tradition from the Prophet says the lowest amongst the people, the lowest one amongst the people is he who insults people. So no one is lower than the one who is insulting others. Then it refers to the source of their hideous behavior. It is often originates from arrogance and pride caused by the wealth. Allazi jama'a malan wa addada. He likes wealth so much that he's always counting it. Back in the day, this is how they used to talk about it. That someone who's continuously counting how much money that he has amassed. Why are you counting it? Is it going to go away somewhere? There's so much love for the riches that is always constantly on the count of it. So this person used to count the golden coins and other things among his riches and enjoys them as if each of them is an idol for himself. And wealth is the center of everything in his personality. It is natural that such a foolish and astray person always resorts to mocking others because I have all this. The term addada originally comes from adda, which stands to number or enumerate, to reckon something. Some have said that it is based on maybe udda, which is provision, with the meaning of preparing and storing properties for future difficult days. So, people say, well, let's put it away for tomorrow. We don't know how the future holds out, how the market will be tomorrow. Let's go ahead and put it in for the rainy days. At any rate, the verse refers to those who pile up wealth, not as a means of help, but as a goal. They observe no limit or condition in gathering it. This is the point. And inshallah, I'll conclude. This is the gist of it, if you can just pay attention to this. They observe no limit or condition in gathering this wealth, gathering it whether it is lawful or unlawful, honorable or dishonorable, different ways, whether they're on right or wrong, whether it's their own right or others' rights, oppressively they take it away from someone, and they know there is only sign of dignity and personality. So good or bad, however they get it, they get it. They don't mind, halal or haram, as long as the wealth keeps coming. They do not want wealth to use for their necessities, because if that was the case, they wouldn't have this love for the riches. Your necessities are being fulfilled. Why amass? Yes, if there's halal ways to get more, no problem. But people start looking for haram ways to make more and bring more on. That is why they never become satisfied, and however much they increase their wealth, they're more eager to and avaricious to make it greater. Otherwise, this is the point. Gathering wealth on a reasonable scale and through lawful means not only is not blameworthy in Islam, but it is referred to as Quran as the bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Allah is not stopping you from amassing it. If it's done lawfully, in the halal way, and in service to people. Surah Jummah talks about it, ayat number 10, and seek the bounty of Allah. At another place, Allah refers to this wealth, rendered as khair. That you amass it, you hoard it, you bring it, you acquire it through the halal ways. It is what? It is khair. So such wealth is certainly neither a cause of rebelling, nor means of pride, nor an excuse of mocking others. But that the wealth which is the object of worship and is the final goal and invites its owner to rebellion, such as Qarun did. Right? Qarun had all this wealth. What did he become? He became rebellious. Shame and scorn, misery and adversity is the cause of being far from Allah and dwelling in hell. And then the next two ayat, of course, it'll take us a little bit longer to finish off. So I'll just conclude with this tradition from our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam, which denotes that whoever recites this surah, Surah Wailul likulli humazatin lumaza, in their obligatory prayers, poverty will stay away from such individual. Sustenance will approach this individual, and a hideous death will be repelled from such individual. What more can you demand? You want to have what? You don't want poverty to strike your house. You want sustenance to come looking for you. And you don't want nagahani maut, hideous death. These three things could be achieved just by reciting the surah in your wajib prayers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to become the qari and the reciters of the surah and implement the teachings of the surah in our lives. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Allahumma salli. Assalamu alaikum Rasulullah, assalamu alaikum Nabi Allah, assalamu alaikum Habibullah, assalamu alaikum Khiratullah, assalamu alaikum Rahmatullah wa barakatuh, assalamu alaikum Abdullah, assalamu alaikum Ibn Rasulullah, assalamu alaikum wa ala jaddika wa abika wa ala ummika wa akhika wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, assalamu alaikum Gharib al-Quraba, assalamu alaikum Mu'in al-Du'afa wal Fuqara, assalamu alaikum Shams al-Shumus wa Anis al-Nufus, ayyuha al-Madfun bi'ardatu Sali ibn Musrada wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, assalamu alaikum Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman, assalamu alaikum Imam al-Insa wal Jan, assalamu alaikum Sharik al-Quran, ajjalallahu ta'ala farajak, sahal Allahu makhrajak wa dhuhurak wa ja'alana min awanik wa suwarik wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Surah Fatiha. Takbir. Allahu Akbar.